One election. And Canada just unlocked something worth over $1 trillion. Most Canadians have no idea this happened. The media called it a European democracy story. It is not. It is a Canadian money story. 9 years frozen. One night to change it. And Mark Carney was one of the first leaders on the phone. April 13th, 2026. Budapest, Hungary. Viktor Orb. 16 years in power. Gone in a single night. His replacement is a 45-year-old lawyer named Peter Magyar. The student just defeated the teacher. And he did not just win. Within hours, the congratulations flooded in. Macron, NATO's Secretary General, the European Commission President. Then came Canada. Mark Carney posted his response fast, faster than most expected. His statement was not a polite formality. It contained 3 very specific words: trade, defense, security. A prime minister does not choose those 3 words by accident. So what did Carney know that most people missed? Canada has a trade deal with the European Union. Most Canadians have never heard of it. It is called CETA, and it is the most ambitious trade agreement Canada has ever signed outside North America. Look at what it has already done. Since 2017, Canada-EU goods trade has been up 75%. Services trade up 97%. Tariffs were eliminated on 99% of all goods. The total trade relationship is worth over $1.1 trillion. That is not a typo. Trillion, with a T. But here is the problem almost nobody talks about. CETA has never been fully ratified. Every single EU member state must sign off. All 27. 17 have said yes. 10 have not. And Hungary was one of those 10. Orban refused for years. He used it as a political weapon. Without his signature, CETA's investment protection chapters stayed legally dead. Canadian businesses in Europe have been without that protection since 2017. 9 years of waiting. One election just changed everything. Understand what Orban actually was inside the European Union. He was not just a difficult politician, he was a wrecking ball with a veto. He blocked a €90 billion aid package for Ukraine, while EU partners watched in disbelief. He kept secret back channels with Moscow during active summits. He built a personal alliance with Donald Trump and positioned himself as Vladimir Putin's most valuable asset inside Western institutions. For Canada, Orban was a structural wall. Trade, defense, energy. Every Canadian priority ran through the same institution he spent 16 years trying to break from the inside. That wall fell on April 13th. Now watch what Canada was doing while Orban was blocking the door. February 2026, Canada joined the EU's Security Action for Europe Defence Framework. March 5th, Trade Minister Sidhu signed CETA enhancements in Toronto with the EU Trade Commissioner. The same week, Canada and the EU launched negotiations on a brand new digital trade agreement. 3 major moves. 60 days, all pointing in the same direction. Every one of them becomes more powerful the moment CETA is fully ratified. Investment protections activate. Legal certainty improves for every Canadian company in Europe. Billions in trade exposure become more secure overnight. And now the 9 remaining holdouts are watching Budapest. The toughest blocker in the entire process just collapsed in one night. The message is unmistakable. The obstruction era is over. But that is only half the story. Here is what almost every analyst is getting wrong. Peter Magyar is not a liberal. He is centre-right. The man who defeated Orban once idolized him. This election was not Hungary choosing the left. It was Hungary choosing Europe over Moscow. Magyar has pledged to end Hungary's dependence on Russian energy by 2035. That single pledge creates a new customer. And Canada has exactly what that customer needs. Canada is quietly building one of the largest LAN export networks on the planet. And almost nobody outside the industry is paying attention. Kitimat shipped its first cargo in mid-2025. Phase 2 doubles capacity to 28 million tons annually. Wood fibre, cedar long, and siliciums are all advancing. Canada's energy minister has said Canadian long cannot be turned off by politics or coercion. That is not policy language. That is a direct shot at Russian pipelines. The EU's full ban on Russian ling takes effect in January 2027. Every European country walking away from Russian energy becomes a potential Canadian customer. Hungary just joined the list. Now zoom out. Orban was the structural anchor of Trump's populist international inside the EU. His removal fractures that network at its core. Watch the reactions. Italy's Meloni congratulated Magyar, then thanked Orban for their years of collaboration. France's Bardella praised Orban's record, but refused to say Magyar's name once. Not once. These are not confident reactions. These are the reactions of leaders watching a pillar collapse and quietly wondering if they are next. February, Canada joins the EU defense framework. March, SETA enhancements signed. April, Orban gone. This is not a coincidence. It is convergence. Carney has been positioning Canada for exactly this moment. 9 holdouts remain, but the hardest one just fell. Europe is realigning, and Canada is exactly where it needs to be.